Alright, if you are looking for a short tutorial on how Ableton Looper works, you're in the perfect place right now and you will be starting making music with this before you know it. So in this video I'm going through all of the functions and knobs of the looper so you get a better understanding and are able to start your own recording quickly. And I'm also explaining on how to record acoustic instruments and electronic instruments as well. And if you're preparing for your next live performance at the moment, I'm going to share my basic Ableton live performance set in the end where I'm using Looper quite a lot. Hey everyone, my name is Max. I'm a percussionist combining my huge variety of acoustic instruments with all kinds of electronic stuff, exploring the world of music production with the eyes of a classical trained musician. Alright, so enough talking, let's see how everything works here. So basically you can see the most important symbols of the looper up here. The first one is the circle, which means record, like you're just recording something into your loop. Next is the plus, and the plus means overdub, which means like you're recording something over a pre-existing loop that you've just recorded. Play means this starts playing the loop you already recorded, and stop means stop. That's simple. So first we have to decide how long our loop will be, and we have options from 1 bar to 16 bars, and X bars means we can just leave this open. You don't have to decide how long your loop will be before you start playing. You can just hit record, start playing, and whenever you think everything is done, just hit play or overdub, and this will then define the length of your loop. The quantization in the corner down here means basically when I hit record or play or overdub, like when will this exactly start to work. So I prefer leaving this global. That means like it refers to whatever quantization I have in my whole Ableton set. And if we look up here, I set the quantization in this Ableton set to 1 bar. That means basically when I hit record in the looper, it will start recording on the next one, like on the beginning of the next bar, and I feel very comfortable with that. Looking at the song control, we have 3 options here. First, none is like the work of my looper doesn't affect any kind of details on my whole Ableton set. If I choose start song, this means like pressing start or overdub on the looper also starts the whole Ableton set. And if I select start and stop song, then I can use like the play and the overdub button of the looper and also the stop button of the looper to start or stop my whole Ableton set. Tempo control basically means if the BPM of the looper should be connected in any kind to the whole Ableton set. And we have 3 options here, like none, obviously nothing is like connected. Follow song tempo means like the tempo of the looper is set the same as the whole track, which I prefer. And set and follow song tempo, which means if you're basically starting a track from the looper, you might want to, like initially set the tempo of the song inside this looper, and then the whole Ableton set gets the same tempo like your initial loop. But for now, I'm hitting like follow song tempo because I like my looper to follow the tempo of the whole Ableton set. Once I recorded something, I have the option to reverse it here. You can also like just press this option before you recorded something, and when you record a loop, it gets automatically played reverse. And you have the option to speed up or slow down your loop here. This feedback option means whenever you record your first loop and then you do any overdub afterwards, you can decide how loud the first loop should be in the second take. Which means like when you're playing like a first loop and then you're recording one overdub, you can decide if the first loop should be like 100% the same volume as before, or you can set that down a bit if probably you want the overdubs to be heard a bit clearer and like the first loops to be a bit more silent. The input and output options here are basically for how you want to hear your input signal or when you want to hear your input signal, like for any kind of input that goes into this looper. I have the looper on the percussion group for the moment, so I want to record like a groove and a beat for you, which means like there are my microphones and there is also my drum machine, my machine in this case. And now we have to decide like when I want to hear all of those signals. Always means I always hear every signal, like I hear the microphone input and I hear the machine and stuff, no matter if the loop is playing or not, which I prefer because if I recorded some loop that repeats all the time, I might even during a live case want to improvise through the microphones or improvise some beat things that I don't want to record to the loop, which means I need to hear that stuff always. Never means I would hear it. Never, obviously. Record and overdub means I'm only hearing it when I'm recording or overdubbing something. And the last option means I'm hearing it whenever the loop is not playing, like recording, overdubbing, or if the loop stops at all, but I'm not hearing the inputs when the loop is just playing. So for now, we're going with always. Good, so let's record some examples. For now, I'm not going to reverse the loop. Input output is set to always. I want a 4-bar loop for now, and after I recorded these 4 bars, I just want the loop to be played. It always stresses me a bit if I know, like after recording one loop, the overdub immediately started. So yeah, I prefer like to listen back to what I recorded and then decide if it needs something else. So no song control. My tempo of the looper should follow the song tempo because my Ableton set tempo is set to 120 BPM, which is a good tempo for me now. And quantization is also global, which means I have set this to 1 bar in my Ableton set, and whenever I hit record on the next one, the looper will start recording. So for now, I'm going to just record some beat to explain exactly how everything works. So I'm going to like play my Ableton set and we'll start the metronome also so you can hear like exactly how everything's working. Here we are. And I'm now going down to the looper and hit record. And on the next one, the first part of my beat is recording. Alright, so I can hear the beat now, and I think like maybe I'm recording some acoustic stuff, which means like maybe a shaker or something, instead of like a drum machine hi-hat. So I'm going to use this percussion microphone, pressing plus for overdub. Could you hear that? I accidentally touched some mallets and they made some noise on the vibraphone while I was recording the shaker. Usually I would like that very much and it would be in the beat for sure, but for now I'm going to show with this what the undo button does. So in case I would not like the accidental vibraphone sounds and I would redo the shaker, I now hit undo. So now we're one step back, we just can hear what I played with the drum machine, and I deleted like the shaker and also like the accidental vibraphone noise that was in the last take, and I now have the chance to overdub again and play my shaker. Okay, great. And let's see, okay, I like this loop recording and I want to save this as a clip in my set because I might want to record some overdub loop kind of thing later on with like, not losing this. I can press like drag me here and I could, drag this clip over to one of my percussion group tracks. And if I double click on that, you can see, this is like the audio recording of our looper that we can see here. And if I press play, you can see this is like exactly the 2 bars that we recorded in our looper. So in case you wanted, to do a thing like that, back to the looper, I could now say, okay, let's clear everything. Everything is deleted, but we didn't lose it. It's still up here and we can play it. Or we can just record another loop and make some beat variations for that we are going to use later in our live set. Talking about the live set, let's quickly jump into my Ableton set where I'm going to show you how I set this all up for my live performances. So I have 3 groups basically here. First is like the plugin group, second is the percussion group, like beat kind of thing, and the third one is the melodies group, like vibraphone, glockenspiel, marimba, whatever I want to use in the set. Firstly, the plugins group is basically like every plugin that I use goes into this group, and this set is like our Maschine plugin, which I used for the beat in the example before, is now in the percussion group here because I want to have a separate group for all beat kind of stuff. Is it acoustic or is it electronic? I want to have this in the same loop. So this is why the Maschine plugin is in the percussion group here. I would have usually to have like more synth plugin tracks here, but for now I want to keep it easy to don't make it too complicated. I have like my complete control here with the Playbox plugin. I love this like vocal ambience, and this all goes to the plugins group channel, and here is like the looper. So next is like the percussion group. First, as I told you, is like my Maschine beat machine. And the second track here is the channel input 4 from my interface, which is the telephone microphone that I got over here, which records like a classic vintage kind of sound that I like very much on my hand percussion beat shaker kind of thing. So if you can see this over here, hello, this is Max speaking through the telephone mic. Okay, so this is like the percussion group. Having a look at the next group is like, we have like more than one here, we can delete one. This track is like channel 3, which is my Neumann overhead microphone here, which is recording all vibraphone stuff. And if I would like to implement like a glockenspiel, as I often do if you know my Instagram videos or something, or if I would have like a marimba at the side, I would have like maybe a second one or other microphones, and the tracks would be also part of this group. And this everything goes into the looper here. Alright, so that being said, let's start like just jamming, recording a track and see where it goes. I'm starting my Ableton set so I can hear the metronome working, which is very comfortable for me, and then I'm going to start with some of the Playbox vocal things to lay down like as a fundament of the track. I'm going to do some beat stuff, some percussion stuff, and at the end I'm going to do like a vibraphone loop section with like maybe the double bass bow, some pitch bend. Let's see. So if you, like me, love watching tutorials like that and getting more creative input, but afterwards struggle a bit on how to do the first steps on your own, I would love to invite you to my Patreon community. I'm building like a growing community there where musicians, instrumentalists, music producers of all kinds meet and exchange about their ideas or their current workflows, tracks they're working on. We're doing regular listening sessions, we're doing community projects where we work together. I would love to see you there, and I'm putting a link down below this video. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe my channel, share it with your friends, and I can't wait to see you next time.